had the, oh my goodness, don't you hate it? I had this whole beautiful intro. I had this great little expression, and then I forgot to push the like, hey, add the stream thing. Talk about killing it in one day. Oh my goodness, you guys, it has been quite a day. Forgive me in advance. I'm trying to refill my candle. It's this little paraffin candle that's refillable. And I use it so that I don't waste so much in just plain wax. But yeah, I went out and I refuse to do work without a candle. Like, you just, for me, for an Abby, you don't do those things. So please let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me. I see that I'm a little bit blurry, so I'm going to adjust the one setting that I know to do for that here in just a sec. But I want to say hi to you first. I want to say hi. But thank you so much for sticking around while I do this little transition and kind of get things going. Because, you know, it just, some days, yay, no glitches. Perfect. Thank you, Kiana. Thank you, Pasha. I'm glad this is much better. Hopefully here in just a second, I'll actually have a better quality for you here in just a sec. So I'm going to restart a tiny little annoying little tab that controls the quality of my camera. So this says display one. It might kill it, it might not. There we go. Back to different display. Dun dun. And it makes the camera flicker. There we go. How's that? Hopefully a little bit better. Hopefully a little bit better. Anyways, you guys, it's so nice to see you again. I hope you don't mind my chaos and slight crazy, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But Pasha, yay! Lori, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for chiming in, Sweet Pea. Yay! It works. It works. I love it when it works. So, sweet souls, I don't know if you heard this on the last go because it was glitching out. So I don't know what you heard or what you didn't hear. First of all, Kiana, I heard and saw the stuff that you were telling me about the person that you finally let go of. I'm glad to hear that you are putting yourself first, and that is always, always, always a good look, right? Also, what I was mentioning is that normally I have it planned that we do our live sessions on Fridays, but I'm traveling tomorrow and life got away from me. Every time I thought about, oh my gosh, I need to go in and edit that timeline or schedule something different, other priorities took, you know, their turn. So I just got done with the live session. Hi, Rose. So good to see your face. So good to see your face. I just got done with a client session and I'm here. I'm in the room. I'm wearing my big ass bright orange. I thought I would come in and say hello. So I'm so glad to see your faces and I hope that you're doing well. And if not, hopefully I can make it a little bit better, a little bit brighter. After all, my name literally means source of joy. Abigail means source of joy. And I work, unfortunately, to live up to that standard all the time. So I hope to make your days a little bit better, just a little bit. Anywho, so I guess the game plan for today for this quick little conversation, I just wanted to kind of dig in on what maybe our ancestors or what spirit wants us to know for now. Because, you know, it's always changing. It's always a new cycle. It's always a new month. What do we need to know now kind of thing? And then maybe chat a little bit more one-on-one with you directly, maybe pull a card for you all directly. So I haven't decided yet because, you know, depends on how the vibe takes me. So we'll see. We'll see. But you guys, tell me how your week's been treating you. I hope it's gone well. I have to light my candle now that it's all filled. There we go. I'm taking all these methods and efforts to be a little bit more sustainable in every aspect of my practice. So instead of using so much paper to do my channeled like doodles, I'm using my iPad now. So instead I have documents that are so large from all these all these PDFs that I'm creating for channeled little sessions. Instead of wasting so much wax, I have one refillable candle. So I still have my live flame, but a refillable candle. And it makes my wife so proud because she's so much about sustainability, as I love that she is. And every time I talk about how many times I've burned through another notebook, she's just like, oh. I'm like, I know. So I'm glad to be able to take these small steps. Hi, Sarah. It's okay that you can't stay, Sweet Pea. We're just having a quick conversation. We are going to do a community reading, but you can always view this this broadcast later, so no problems in that regard. So yeah, let me put my candle off to the side so that I don't accidentally burn myself because no one wants to do that. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Sweet Pea. Ooh, I hope things going okay. And I know that you and I had just recently talked about it, so I hope things. I hope you get everything that you need, sweetheart. Okay? Best wishes. Everyone give her hugs and love. Everyone get, oh. Sarah reps me hard. Like I love her for that. She's very much Team Abby, so I appreciate that. She's gonna make me blush or ruin my mascara. I don't know what she's gonna do. Take care, sweet pea, and go handle hubby. Take care of everything that you need to do there. Okay. Mwah. But for you all that are hanging out with me, I'm gonna light a stick of incense because I haven't figured out a sustainable way to do that yet, but I will. But I will. Let's see. You're very welcome, Sarah. Maybe you guys can give me ideas. What is a sustainable method to have a smoke or fragrance experience that doesn't generate or generates less waste? Because in all reality, like this one isn't that bad because it's a bamboo stick. So it does all burn, it does all decompose. So maybe it's not so bad, but I was just thinking briefly, what if I did like an atomizer? And so the smell was in the air, but not necessarily burning anything to get it. I don't know. What do you think about that? You'll totally have to tell me. Or let me know in the comments what you think about different aroma methods, and we can try that one day. Actually, probably really soon is when we would try that. So, all right, CPs, let's get shuffling. I'm going to use the Spread Machine Oracle to give us an area of focus. And then we're just going to hop in and see what shows up for us there. See what shows up for us. All right, let's see. What does Spirit want us to know? That's the question that we're digging into, is like, what is in our best interest to know and understand right now? Oh, hi, Kaylani. Sleepy. I just want to like give you hugs and squish your cheeks. You're so fun and sweet. You're like the sweetest person ever. So what does Spirit want us to know? Be aware of, becoming. There we go. There's one. Ooh, I think I wanted two. Okay, we got two cards. I'm going to pull the first one and then pull cards based on that. And then let's see how this goes. Let's see how it unfolds. Oh. All right, so the first card that came out was World View. Let's see if it'll actually zoom in. Did I just mess it up? I think I did. Don't focus on me. Anywho, focus on the thing. It's not. Okay, that's fine. So the thing is, or the worldview, your point of view, your perspective, your opinions, and your attitude. You can also dive deeper and use this card to explore core values, ingrained beliefs, and childhood conditionings. So that's what Spirit wants us to talk about today, is our world view. Now, I do have the secondary card. I'll totally see how that aligns here in just a sec. So let's just pull 3 cards and see what information comes in. So what is it about our worldview? Have you ever given your worldview thought? Because so often and sometimes I deal with customers and clients and friends and family who come from a perspective that their worldview is the only view, and it's the only view that matters. And that's such a like, ooh, there's so many different lived perspectives though. So I feel like after you I don't know if it's a point in evolution or a point of sentienceness, or even just basic consideration, where you start to understand, know, and acknowledge that I can have a different frame of reference point. I can have a different lens that I view the world. I can have a different perspective than you, and they're both valid. And they're both can be honored. They both can be respected, and they both can have space. They both can have space. And it doesn't mean that yours is wrong or that mine is right, or vice versa. So I wonder if that's ever something that you guys have to contend with. You'll totally have to let me know. Uh-oh, first card went flying. I'm not going to burn myself. There we go. First card. Let's pull a third. There we go. And last one right there. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at the card at the bottom of the deck. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the card at the bottom of the deck was the 10 of Cups. So for me, when the 10 of Cups showed up, P.S. this is the second time I've seen this card today. When the 10 of Cups shows up for us, it's often talking about family. So my first thought for you, sweet peas, is what is this going on about your worldview in relation to your family? Like, is it your, hypothetically, because I don't know your situation personally, but are you in the middle of a clash between you and another family member because of a different lived perspective? Do you have those conversations with your relatives, with your parents? And it's just like, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you come from that perspective. That's a little offensive. How dare you? Do you like butt heads in regards to that? So the first card that I got for us was the Page of Pentacles. Oops, get my finger out of the way. Page of Pentacles. What other card did I get? Oh, sorry, I blush a little bit because it's the King of Wands. There you go. And what else is in here? Ace of Pentacles. There we go. I low-key think this set is like talking about the exact thing that I just mentioned about our worldview, that they have space to coexist, to be at the table, and not to be less than somebody else's. So it's like, did we? Oh, thank you, Pasha. Thank you. Do you know, do you understand, do you remember that your parents' perspective or your wife's perspective or your husband's perspective or that boyfriend's perspective is also valid, is also correct, is also right, as well as yours. So if you're ever kind of like coming up to a head or headbutting or pulling your eyes out because of something that is going on there, understand first and foremost that whatever it is that you're focusing on, whether it be them or the situation or whatever it is that you're focusing on, that is what you're going to see. Okay. So remember that whole adage where where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're, for instance, focusing on how much of a shit this person is to you, that's all you're going to see about them. That is all that you're going to see about them. So when you're stuck in this hyper focus aspect, the invitation is taking a second to find something else to focus on. If it's, you can't focus on anything different about them, then focus on a different thing. So, example, say you're in a headbutt with your parents or your mom. We'll use your mom. We'll use the headbutt with the mom. Say you're in a headbutt with your mom, and all you can focus on right now is just how much she offends you. So take a second to step back from that situation. Find something else about her that you can focus on for just that minute. And it's just a minute. Is it the way that she cooks? Is it the way that she makes you laugh sometimes? Is it the way that she remembered your birthday? Is it the way that she took care of you when you were sick? Is it the way that she taught you how to tie your shoes? You know, what is it about her that feels a little bit better than this asinine aspect that you're holding on right now? What is it that you can focus on that makes you feel just a tiny bit better? Because it's shifting what you're focusing on. You better preach. I understand. I understand. Because with that King of Wands, right? With that King of Wands, often that comes with this place of authority. This I want to be right. This I am right. Because it is, in my experience, this is my perspective. This is, of course, I'm right because I'm the one who's feeling it. Take a second to remember that that person over there is feeling something too, and also coming from a different lived experience than you. And remember, if you have the exact same lived experience as that person over there, you probably feel the same way too. And sometimes just shifting that almost camaraderie, right, between experiences can give us a half second of compassion for that other person and what they're going through. So I don't know about you, but ever when you're focusing on something, do you think they're doing it on purpose? Like there's something about them that's just, they're doing it to be an ass. They're doing it because they like being an asshole to me. They're doing it because I have all this work and they knew that doing this would piss me off, kind of thing. Keep in mind that if that's what you're looking for, you're going to find it. And not often is that actually the case. Not often is that actually the case. So the idea to kind of help us mend that is that Ace of Pentacles. That guy. Have you ever considered giving that person either a gift or an offering or a moment? Because the Pentacles is a slower suit of cards, so it doesn't move as fast. And it's also tangible. So sometimes if you're in your clouds and you're spinny and you're losing your shit, for instance, take a second to do anything that helps you get a little bit more grounded, because you're already in the clouds, right? So what can you do to get a little bit more, grounded, get a little bit more grounded? And it might be literally putting your feet in the dirt, because there's something energetically grounding about that activity. That might be something that you could do. What else? Gosh, there's so many ways that you can shift the narrative, shift the perspective. You don't have to stay in this set of pistosity. You don't have to, but I also understand the same instance. You could use the Star card, Brad. You could also mind your own business. That's another thing that you could also do. But I also understand first and foremost that it is really hard to kind of not pay attention to things that bug you or annoy you or piss you off. And that's just kind of how it is. So let's pull additional cards to see if there's anything we can do to kind of help mend that, right? Let's see what can be done to mend that. Yes. Let's see if I can do something here. There we go. Oh, sweet pea. There we go. Now we're going to do this. So sorry that Brad doesn't think I'm fabulous. That happens. Delete. There we go. All right, sweet. All right, so what can be done? What can be done? You know, the funny thing is that showed up at an excellent time, for instance. Okay, if we use that as the example, maybe I should go unblock him, right? Bye, Brad. It's okay, because the thing is, not everyone's going to have our shared opinion, and that is totally fine and okay. But there is room for Brads or Chads or Luke, whoever it happens to be. There's room for them at the table too. Because if I think about it briefly, that sweet soul has a lived experience that tells him that this is a scam. And for him, it may be because he either doesn't understand it, doesn't believe it, or comes from a state of fear that does not work or does not coincide with what's going on here. He can have that. That can exist for him. And I don't need to prove, we don't need to prove differently, because also his worldview may be a little bit more rigid than mine. And there may be nothing I can do to tell him otherwise. He may not even, like, if I put him directly in front of me and read for him and pulled in his ancestors or pull in his grandmother, it may not matter for him, because also with our worldview, we often do not allow room for us to be wrong. And we will defend our perspective and to the death, you know? And so it takes a choice to actually be open-minded, to suspend disbelief so that another perspective can exist simultaneously. They don't necessarily have to reconcile, but they can exist simultaneously, if that makes sense. So let's see what else we can do to kind of mend these situations when they show up. What can be done? What can be done to mend these situations when they show up? I hope that was helpful. I hope that made sense. And totally let me know your thoughts there, because oof, I know, right? I know. All right, second card. He's just missing out. He is. Often those people kind of have like this super critical lens, super critical eye, and they're missing out on a lot of the good stuff. They're missing out on a lot of the magic because they refuse to believe that it could exist. And sometimes it's just they were let down at a critical stage in their existence, or it disappointed them in a moment in which they needed that help and they needed that support, they needed that caring, and they didn't get it. So it's like, Brad, come here, I'll give you a hug. I don't think he wants a hug from me though. Oh my goodness. So if he finds me, I know we just banned him here in this stream, but if he finds me again, we'll just have to give him hugs. Just love him with hugs. All right, how do we mend it? You know what's funny is that that's part of the message too. How do we mend it? We also give it what it actually needs. So for instance, if you're coming up to a head between your person and the thing, whatever is going on, what is it that they're actually needing? Are they needing support? Are they needing some kindness? Are they needing some love? Are they needing some time? Are they maybe just nervous and are losing their shit because their world is changing and they don't know how to accommodate? That sometimes can happen a lot too. The other cards I got for us was the Ace of Swords. So just to even touch on this a little bit, first thing that comes up with the Ace of Swords is that this is also a lot in the head, a lot in the mind, and we can control what is going on there. Maybe not necessarily the reflex reactions that we have, but we can shift our thoughts and what we decide to focus on. Because remember that pentacle that we had a bit ago? I'm telling you, we do have the ability to do something. I'm sorry if that was way loud. My bad. Also, the High Priestess. The High Priestess to me is such a wonderful card for this situation, because sometimes it's beneficial to seek higher counsel from either like the Hierophant kind of style or spiritually higher counsel. So what can you do to go beyond the veil to get a different perspective? Maybe, for instance, you have an ancestor that has like your back that you talk to all the time. Maybe you can ask them what's going on. What do you need to know? What insight can they share on this for you so that you can move forward from a more empowered point of view instead of this super reactive point of view? Hope that makes sense. Dude, the last card that hopped out again was the Ace of Pentacles. Yo, that Ace of Pentacles wants our attention. What does it want us to know? You know, the funny thing is I keep thinking about meds. I sometimes think of the Ace of Pentacles as like medication. I'm like, are you telling me that I need to be medicated? Is that what you're saying? Maybe. No, I'm not going to go there. But let's see what else shows up. I'm going to give it kind of like to clarify a card so that I can see what does it mean. What does Spirit want us to know about this card? Because to me, it feels like the gift, right? It's the giving of something back. It's the handing back of something. So what's I wonder if when you're kind of butting up against that worldview, if there's something that you can give them, they'll give back to them. For instance, what else? One, aw, that's sweet. What else? There you go. Two. Ooh, two major arcana cards. So we have the Strength and we have the Emperor in there. So the Ace of Pentacles wants us to understand the Emperor and the Strength. Ooh, personal authority and strength is like resilience. So to me, I think it still comes back to this Ace of Swords. It's like you still have the ability to control your own mind as much as possible, to maybe not your whole mind, right? Because there's stuff that you can't necessarily control in there, but you can control what you decide to linger your focus on. And if you decide to linger your focus on stuff that bothers you or hurts your feelings or pisses you off, then that is all that you're going to see. So the invitation, I feel like, is bringing something beneficial to the table, shifting the conversation, shifting the situation so that there is something else that can be focused on except for that thing, instead of that thing that is bothering the two of you. And then the sense of resilience, like just because you guys are coming to a head doesn't mean it's a terrible situation. Just because you're coming to a head doesn't mean that it's over. Just because you're coming to a head doesn't mean that we will never be family and this is never going to be good enough and you will never be the best boss that I need out of you. Doesn't mean that that is a failure. It just means you guys are trying to understand who you are in relation to each other. Make sense? Hope it makes sense. Totally let me know what you thinks about that. And you sweet souls, it's like there's only the 6 of you here. I would love to pull some cards for you. So if you have, if you'd like to have a card pulled, what I'm going to do is pull a card out of my Spread Machine Oracle for you. Hey. And then we'll read on that topic. We'll read on that conversation and just see how that lands as like a message from Spirit or what Spirit wants you to know right now. So I hope that makes sense. Yay, people are like chiming in really quickly. I'm sure you are. So before we do that, oh, look at that. Out of all of those things, it still come back to generosity. So to me, it's like all about what you can do to give back a little bit of something when you're coming up to a head. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So let's do it. Let's hop in. Miss Cayenne, I want to pull a card for you. And there's so few of you here. It's going to be super easy to do that. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So what does Spirit want you to know right now? Uh-oh, I got something on my card. I got paraffin wax or paraffin oil on my card. You're just here cooking. Wonderful. All right. So what the Spirit wants you to know, Miss Cayenne? Oh, this one. Okay. What about this one? Ooh. Yeah, something about you being a seeker. So this is something I get to understand about you. So this card is used to represent you, who you are, what you may be thinking, feeling, and how you are positioned in a situation or relationship right now. So let's see what it's going to share with me real quick. So what do I need to know about this? What do I need to know? Oh, okay, we got cards flying everywhere. 2, 3, that's fun. 4, okay. So the first thing that I'm getting off of you, Hunbunch, and I'll tell and show you why in just a second, but I feel like there's something going on between you and your spiritual practice is what I'm feeling. One of the cards that hopped out for me was the High Priestess again, and she is often the mystical one, the magical one, the one who's kind of, digging into her spiritness and is consorting or visiting whatever is beyond the veil. You see where I'm going with that. The other card I have is the Moon, and then the 2 of Wands. And so when the Moon shows up for us, it's often talking directly about what we do not know, what we cannot see. And so moving forward is the 2 of Wands. When you're dealing with a spiritual practice and you're getting up to this place where I do not know where to go next, pick something because that is a beautiful opportunity to, hi, Miss Cynthia. That is a beautiful opportunity to then choose what the next phase of your practice is going to be. And next phase of maybe not your spiritual practice, but your work, next phase of your education, next phase of your knowledge, apply whatever, I wish I knew English anatomy better. Is it verb? No. Adverb? No. Verb. It's not a noun. Is it a noun? Anyway. point is, I graduated college a while ago. So apply whatever word there that makes sense for you, apply it there and decide what the next phase is. So for instance, if you ever say to yourself, God, I'm stuck, or I feel so stuck, or something about stuck, it's because we're having fear or resistance about taking the next step forward. Because in all reality, we are not actually stuck. We're just sometimes scared. And again, I'm not saying always, because there will be somebody that will be the exception to the rule. And I understand that completely. But consider, if you are in a position right now where you feel stuck, ask yourself, what is it that I'm scared of, and what decisions need to be made? And then make one, or try to, or come talk to me and I'll help you. I'll help you make one. Those are something that can be done. So, okay, and I hope that makes sense. Totally let me know your thoughts on that, sweet pea. And if it lines, if it resonates, if it doesn't, totally let me know that too, because it's super fun. Super fun to know these things. All right, Miss Kaylani. There you are, sweet pea. She is second daughter tarot. We love you, sweet pea. All right, I have one of my cards that are reversed. There we go. So we're going to pull a card for you. Kaylani, what's in her best interest right now? What does she need to do? Ooh, here we go. That was fast. Aww, look at this. Generosity. And see, the funny thing is for you, I know that you're the queen of generosity. So I wonder what this is going to be like for you. What's going to show up? Because I can pull like intuitively all day, but I want to see what the cards are going to share with us a little bit. What about Kaylani's generosity? So the text from the card is, how can you practice generosity? How can you create a win-win situation? How can you share and expand? And how can you give others and extend kindness to others? However, like, even though I pulled this card for you, Sweet Pea, the thing that I'm feeling though is this wisdom to pull it back a little bit. Because I feel like you have this tendency in you to give. You know, this almost bleeding of give. And then the bottom card on the deck that I just had was the Three of Swords. So to me, it kind of aligns up where you're giving so much that we're kind of dealing with a bleed out issue. And that's not something I want for you, right? So let's see, what else do we need to know here? What else do we need to know? How do we stem the wound? Well, not even that. How do we prevent this from being a persistent, recurring thing for you? Aww. You work so hard to put other people first, and you do that as an act of love for them. I feel like, however, we're missing the act of love for yourself. So that is the question mark, is like the act of love for yourself, if that makes sense. So the other cards that I got is the Hierophant. I'm not going to explain the meanings of these too much for you, Hun Bunch, because you know it already. We also have the Ace of Cups for you. Along with the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands. Oh my goodness. Hierophant, Ace of Cups, Seven of Wands. Because I feel like it's a perpetual tug of war between this persistent, generous heart of yours, and then the side effects, the lack of boundaries, the over responsibility that shows up from it, the taking on too much, because saying no is a continual practice, and something that we all have to figure out. We all have to learn how to say no, right? So for you, Miss Kaylani, your card was generosity, and I think it's still feels like it's stemming in, pulling back on the profuse, generous nature that, one, I love so much about you, but I want you to always take care of yourself and put yourself first, especially within your family and in your dynamic. And it makes you a better employee, it makes you a better wife, it makes you a better mother, when you made a better daughter, when you take the time to put yourself first instead of the persistent bleeding of generosity to everyone else. So I hope that makes sense, Supi. If that makes sense. Totally let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on that card and how it landed for you, or if it even landed for you. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. So we're not answering questions specifically. We are. Oh, my mother is calling. And I just talked about this being about my mom. We are going to talk to her some other time, because we're not going to broadcast that at all. I love her. There we go. So, Kiana, let's pull a card for you, sweetheart. Let's see. So we're pulling cards for them. We're not asking direct questions, sweet souls. So, Jean, like, I see your car question, and Elena, I see your question, but we're just pulling cards. It's just kind of funsies, because I don't have a whole ton of time today, and I still want to visit. Oh, we got worldview again. So I'm going to put that out. And Kiana, maybe actually that is what Kiana needs to hear about. Oops. It's on the floor. All right, let's see. There we go. Well, we'll do two modal, right? So we got universe and motivation. So universe says messages from the universe or your recognized higher power, how you are being supported. What is the bigger picture? How can you strengthen your connection to the divine? And motivation is anything that fuels your productivity, your momentum, your drive, lighten up your inner fire, or could be hidden or unconscious desires driving your reaction. So what do we need to know about that? Let's see. Kayan, you had one. Yours was first, honey. Universe and motivation. I believe you're able to rewind this broadcast. So if you want, you can totally hop back to the first cards that were pulled. Not to the beginning of the video, but to the first kind of half of this section, and see your pull. So Keanu, what do we need to know about universe and motivation? There's 1, 2. There you go. Let's see what's going on there. And we're trying to do this quickly, right? We're trying to get fast. So universe. Oh my goodness. Let's see what we got. You got an interesting set of cards here, Sweet Pea. So the first card that I pulled up for you was the 8 of Cups. Now, for me, often the 8 of Cups talks to us directly about walking from something or transitioning away from something. And then it's funny that this is about momentum or motivation, because the card is all about momentum, is all about that breath before movement. And then we have the 7 of Swords. So for me, ultimately, it feels like you're kind of getting into this space where I wouldn't be surprised if you are actively saying, God, I feel stuck in these kind of certain situations. But the invitation for you, Sweet Pea, is to actually take a little bit of, take the reins. Understand, remember that you have the opportunity to make choices and decide where you're going to go from here. So be it the person that you're just talking about earlier in this go, be it any, school stuff, any decisions with work, you have the ability to go anywhere you need to, decide what you need to take, and then leave the rest. So you have that within you. Universe, what was it? The messages from your recognized higher power is that you have, and this is a practice, you have autonomy here. You have agency here. You have the ability to control the outcome of your existence here. You're not subject to whatever life dumps on you. You can choose. You can choose. I'm going to keep that. I'm maybe make a t-shirt for you that says, I can choose. Whatever it's going to be. I hope that makes sense, Miss Kiana. And I just dropped my pen. It's all good. So let's pull a couple more. Let's see. Oh, I'm so glad that you needed to hear that. I love it. Savannah, as usual. Honey, you and I need to schedule a session because I would love to dig deep into something for you more than just what's available here. And we also just need time to chat because I haven't chatted with you in so long. So long. Let's see. Da. Hold on. I just, Teresa just gave me this little compliment. Don't know if you remember me, but I was the lady that went on my flight to Baltimore. I'm definitely here and I'm living here. And I recently got married on the 3rd of March. Truly blessed to be here. Thank you so much, coming from Canada. Oh, hun, I just want to give you hugs and love. That's a complete awesome situation. And that's so cool that you had that experience and had such a great time. So congrats. I have a vague memory. I don't remember the ins and outs of the conversation, but I remember, I believe I remember your face actually, and the nervousness with it. And I kind of remember my energy about it was just take the flying leap kind of thing. So I'm glad it worked out well. Let's see. Lori, Rose. Hi, Rose. What does Rose Need. There we go. Right on the bottom. We'll do lead. What is it about lead? What is it about the inability to focus? There we go. To be the role model. Oh, you were worried about your flight? Oh, sweet pea. It's all good. To be the role model, to set an example, to facilitate, to show the way, to steer towards the right direction. So what is it about that Rose needs to know about lead or leadership or leading? It's hot in here. I'm sorry if I start sweating, you guys. I'm going to get glossy here in a sec. What is it that Rose needs to understand about leading to? There we go. First card, Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands. Second card, Ace of Pentacles. I dig that. Last one, the Fool. Off the cliff, right? What is it that you need to know about? Okay, so the first thing that I'm getting regarding you and leadership or you and leading is that there's this expectation of what leadership is, or this preconceived notion as to what we believe it's supposed to behave like. It's supposed to do things a little bit quicker than what's happening. It's supposed to act faster than what is showing up for you guys. However, I feel like there's still a gift in it though, even if it's not operating at the speed in which you would like. And then the Fool is like, there's still this beginning to the journey aspect to it though. So it's like, even if it's not behaving the way that you want it to, whether it's leadership in yourself or leadership of somebody else, it's still doing the best it can with what it has and what it knows. So the suggestion or the slight invitation is to actually give it some space, give it some room to open up a little bit. Because if we compare it to something else, it's always going to fail, right? If we compare it to the better version of itself, then it has more likelihood to bloom and grow from there. So instead of kind of browbeating yourself or browbeating somebody else who's not measuring up for you, measure them against themselves and who they were previously. Yourself, your boss, your mom, whoever it happens to be for you. Measure them to an earlier version of themselves and not to anyone or anything else. Make sense, you guys? I hope it does. All right, so I'm going to do this as a last community. Any last messages from guides, guardians, and spirits that would like to help us wrap this little conversation up? Oh, you're very welcome, sweetie. You're very welcome. Any final bits? Because, okay, so everybody that is that's viewing this situation, I'm so glad to see that. Anyone who is hearing my words at this moment, I want you all to remember how amazing you all are. And I feel like a lot of us forget it. A lot of us forget how far we've come, how much we've done, how long we have taken, how much we have given. We have forgotten everything that we've done because the moment that is directly in front of us does not measure up to our expectations of what it should be. And so just tiny bit of wisdom is like, dude, relax. Be nice to yourself. Do you know how far you've come? Do you know how much you've done? If not, please feel free to remember, because looking back, you are lucky to be here. There's a certain million circumstances that had to go right for you to exist right now. There's a certain, XYZ situation that had to occur for you to be in this moment of somewhat feeling a little bit like meh, So you are lucky. You are a sweet one. You're a sweet one. And you're freaking amazing just for existing here. What else? Oh, cool. We got the Sun card. I love that. To me, that just kind of doubles down on the whole perceived joy that you can create for yourself or even for others. Anytime you run into a situation where you feel like you're not exactly happy with what is going on, what can you do to affect change in that regard? So if you're not happy with how your husband is treating you, how can you affect change in that house? Can you show up with nothing on? Can you show up and do something a little bit differently? Can you go for a walk with your partner or your spouse or whatever is happening? Figure out what you can bring to the situation to improve it, to make it a little bit better, What else do we need to know? Card at the bottom of the deck. Knight of Pentacles. I have to laugh because this is the slowest moving card in the entire deck. And to me, that is always reminding me that change is not instantaneous, right? We want it to be. We think that, okay, we had the fight, we had the conversation, and now change is overnight. It does not. That is a total unrealistic expectation. The desire and the willingness to change can occur overnight, but the effects is like planting a seed. You have to do steps and put things in place and grow and water and nurture so you can craft the change that you're looking for, not necessarily have it poof, like a genie in a bottle kind of thing. Last bit. Anything that we need to know from guides, guardians, ancestors? Aww. Ace of Swords yet again. All of us, because to me, this is a communal message, right? All of us think entirely too much. Well, not too much as though it's a bad thing, but more of like, it becomes a bad thing when it gets in our way. It becomes a bad thing when our feelings are hurt because of it. It becomes a bad thing when we're no longer living in the present. We're anxiety ridden over the future, or we are depressed about the past. So instead of staying so much in one area or the other, what is it that you smell right now that smells good? What is it that you see that brings a little smile to your face? Think about your dog. Think about your cat. Think about the last time that something made you laugh. Do whatever it is that you can to improve your state of mind, just a tiny bit, and build on that tiny bit until you can feel better more often. I think I'm going to mic drop there. There you go. All right, sweet souls. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your week. I plan to have another session scheduled at a later time, and I'll let you know when that is. All right, so I'm going to pull those old posts, so ignore Friday, okay? All right, you guys. Take care and have a great rest of your week. Bye.